No matter how inspiring a president may be, his authority to act is not unlimited. He must work within the framework of 3 branches of the government, and each has power to restrain the others.
Of the 2 branches of government, other than the executive, Congress has most effectively limited the exercise of presidential power. The president, in making appointments, is exercising one of the highest prerogatives of his office. Yet we have seen district court judges, circuit court judges, and here in recent years, 2 appointees to the Supreme Court rejected by the Senate of the United States. The Congress frequently calls upon the President to make an annual report to the Congress of the United States. Congressional appropriations govern what the President can spend. The President must work within what we call the statutory laws of the country. Then there is always the power of the Congress to investigate every office of the executive branch of the government. There's the power of impeachment. Even the threat of impeachment is a limitation on presidential powers. And there's the power of a vote of censure, even upon members of the President's cabinet. A congressional minority can withhold consent to treaties. A congressional filibuster can stop action on presidential requests and on presidential programs. And obviously, amendments to the Constitution can affect the presidency.
The judicial branch can limit presidents too. It cannot question what a president does or order him to take or not take action. But the court can decide constitutional questions raised once he does take action.
In the Youngstown Steel and Tube Company versus Sawyer, President Truman seized the steel industry, but not for long. A United States District Court judge said, "You're wrong, release the steel industries," and the President of the United States did just that. I think this is a classic example of both the power of the presidency and the restraints upon it. There are other indirect and non-constitutional limitations, and they too can be very effective. The Federal Trade Commission is one of these what we call quasi-public bodies. The Federal Communications Commission, the Interstate Commerce Commission, these are agencies and instrumentalities. While their members are appointed by the President, they are not responsible to the President. They're responsible to the Congress. The President is also limited at times in what he wants to do by the power that exists outside of government. The power of finance, of organized labor, organized business. The influence of lobbyists and pressure groups that work on public opinion. The organizations of many groups in our country. It was Abraham Lincoln, I think, who once said that he could do anything with public sentiment, but nothing without it or against it.
But a man who has public sentiment with him one day does not own permanent title. In 1964, President Johnson's seeming popularity swept him back into office with an unprecedented plurality. Then, overnight, it all was changed.
President Lyndon Johnson's decision first to send troops into Vietnam and to increase troop strength and to escalate the bombing of North Vietnam was an example of strong presidential initiative and leadership, but it angered millions of Americans of all ages and all groups. And we saw demonstrations and riots and anti-war feelings mounting in geometrical proportions. They mounted so high that he had to reassess his whole political situation.
I shall not seek, and I will not accept, the nomination of my party for another term as your president.
The fact of the matter is that a president can't do much over a long period of time unless he has the nation with him. Even so, many Americans, and particularly our young people and our students, are terribly concerned over the power potential of the presidency, especially in the field of foreign affairs. And we're beginning to ask, is there no end to it? But there's another aspect of the presidency. It is an institution, an old institution. And I think when viewed in the perspective of history, it will prove to be bigger and more durable than any one man.